In one corner, he's big, mean, nasty, and extremely hungry. Thok the Bloodthirsty. And in the other corner, we have Lunch. Our noble heroes. This is basically a two-phase fight with a few twists to spice things up a little. You start in phase 1, the boss has a frontal cone attack and a tail swipe, so only the current tank should stand in front of the boss with everyone else stacked up to the side. The boss applies a stacking debuff on the tank from the frontal cone called Fearsome Roar, so tanks will need to swap at around 2 to 3 stacks of the debuff. The boss will be dealing a bit of damage to random players with Shock Blast. The boss constantly gains energy, and at 100 energy it will use Deafening Screech. This deals damage to the entire raid and interrupts spellcasting. Each time the boss uses it, his energy regen will increase. The initial phase 1 will be the best time to do DPS, and it's the time to use Bloodlust, pop everything, and nuke. Players will need to use raid cooldowns to try and prolong this phase for as long as possible. Abilities like Blessing of Protection can prevent spellcast interrupts, so it can be used on a druid to allow them to cast Tranquility without being interrupted. The more damage you do to him during this phase, the easier killing him will be. Eventually, healers won't be able to keep up, and players will fall below 50% health, and when this happens, they will each gain the debuff called Bloodied. When 5 players have Bloodied and are close together, phase 2 will begin. This is why you will want to be stacked up, so that as soon as players drop, phase 2 can begin. In phase 2, the boss will fixate on random players and chase them around the room, instantly killing anyone he walks over, so make sure to stay away from the boss, and if you get fixated, try to avoid kiting him through the group. The longer phase 2 lasts, the faster Thok will get. At around 10 stacks, the boss will be moving dangerously fast. At the start of this phase, a Korkron jailer will spawn. This should be picked up by the tanks and tanked near to one of the 3 cages around the room. DPS should nuke down this ad, and it can then be clicked by a player to get the skeleton key buff, allowing them to open one of the cages. You don't want to open it too soon, so around 8 to 10 stacks should be good. Once you open the cage, the boss will continue fixating on players for a little bit and then swap to the ads that come out. The ads will get eaten, and Thok will change his frontal cone attack and his shock blast with random abilities depending on which ad he ate. A tank will need to taunt the boss when he comes out of phase 2, as the aggro table gets completely messed up. Remember to point him away from the group, and again, everyone should be stacked up on the side. There are 3 different cages. One contains lizard guys, the other are the Jinyu fish people, and the third are the fiery Yongle things. The lizard guy changes his frontal cone to acid breath, making it deal heavy nature damage and apply a stacking armor debuff. Tank should swap at about 2 stacks. He will also deal damage to and put a dispellable dot on random players instead of Shock Blast. The Jinyu changes his breath attack to a frost attack. With it 5 stacks it will stun the tank, so just swap the boss before then. Icy Blood will replace the other ability, dealing damage to random players and applying a stacking dot. At 5 stacks the player will get entombed in ice, and DPS will have to nuke the ice to break the player out. The fiery Yongles will change his breath attack to fire, and it will apply a powerful dot on the tank, so swap for that. His other ability will become a Burning Blood, which deals damage to random players and spawns a patch of fire underneath them. The Yongle ads also give the entire raid a buff to do extra fire damage. Phase 2 in this fight remains much the same, and you'll want to open the cages in the following order: Lizard people, then the Jinyu fish people, then the fiery Yongles. Remember to dispel the dot after he eats the lizard, DPS down the ice barriers for the fish Jinyu, and the only one where the strategy changes is for the fiery Yongles. Because of the fire patches that get put down, stacking up is very tricky, so everyone should be spread out, and when the damage starts getting uncomfortable, they will need to stack up, and healers must let the health fall down below 50% to trigger an extra phase 2. Keep in mind that on the final phase 2, you will have no more ads to end the phase, so a tank can pick up the jailer and everyone else can nuke the boss. If he dies before then great. DPS can also do a bit of damage to Thok during any phase 2, though the jailer needs to be dead before Thok starts moving too quickly. Use Bloodlust at the start, and good luck with turning the boss into mincemeat. For more guides, check the description of this video for links, and of course subscribe for more videos. Cheerio for now.